If you've been looking into Airbnb arbitrage, you've probably seen 100 videos telling you it's the easiest way to make money in property with no experience and barely any cash. And there's some truth in that. But almost none of them tell you about the one risk that can sink you before you've made a single penny. Now look, I'm not here to bash arbitrage, also known as rent-to-rent in the UK. I'm going to explain it to you properly. What it is, what's genuinely good about it, and the part the gurus tend to skip right over because it doesn't sell as well. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you a version of this model that gets you the same income in the same market without that risk hanging over your head. So let's get into this. Let's start with what arbitrage actually is, like in plain English. Arbitrage means you rent a property from a landlord on a normal long-term tenancy. You become the tenant, you sign the tenancy agreement, you pay the rent every single month just like a tenant would. But instead of living in it, you furnish it and then you list it on Airbnb and you rent it out to short-term guests on a night-by-night basis. The idea is actually really simple. You charge the guest more per month in total than you would actually pay the landlord in rent. The difference is your profit. So let's say you rent a flat for £1,200 a month. You furnish it, you list it, and it brings in £2,800 a month in bookings. After your cost, you might clear somewhere around 900 to 1,200 in profit. Now, you don't own the property, you never bought that property, you're just the middle person between the landlord and the guests. That's arbitrage, also called rent-to-rent service accommodation here in the UK. Now, on the surface, it sounds brilliant. Property income without buying property. I get why so many people are drawn to it. It makes perfect sense. So let me be fair. Let me tell you what's actually good about it. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to pretend that arbitrage is all bad. It's not. First, the barrier to entry is low. You don't need a deposit for a mortgage. You don't need hundreds of thousands of pounds, compared to actually buying a property. The amount of money you need to start is really, really small. Second, you can start relatively quickly. Once you've got a property and it's furnished, you can be live and taking bookings in a matter of weeks. And then third, the income is real. When done well, in the right location, a single unit genuinely can produce a good monthly profit. The numbers I just showed you, they're not made up. People really do achieve them. And then fourth, it teaches you the skills of the business, listing, pricing, guest management, operations. Those skills are valuable no matter which model you actually end up running. So if arbitrage is so good, why am I even making this video? Because there's a risk built into the model that most people don't understand until it's too late. And once you see it, you simply cannot unsee it. Here's the risk. When you sign that tenancy agreement as the tenant, you are personally responsible for that rent every single month, whether you get bookings or not. Just take that in. The landlord doesn't care if your flat sat empty for 3 weeks. The landlord doesn't care if there was a quiet season or the market dipped or a big event got cancelled. You signed the lease. The rent is due. That's a legal commitment with your name on it. So let's go back to that £1,200 a month flat. In a good month, full bookings, you're making a nice profit. Everyone's happy. But what about a bad month? January comes. Bookings are slow across the whole market. Your flat is half empty. You bring in £800 in bookings. You still owe the landlord £1,200 that month. You didn't make a profit. You lost £400 out of your own pocket to keep a business running that was supposed to be making you money. Now imagine you did what most of the gurus tell you to do. Scale fast. Get 5 units, 10 units. That's not 5 streams of profit anymore. In a bad month, that's 5 rent payments, 10 rent payments, all due, or with your name on them, or whether the bookings came in or not. That's the part nobody screams about in the videos. When the market is good, arbitrage looks unstoppable. When the market turns, and markets always turn, those tenancy agreements become a weight around your neck. Now, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because it's the truth, and you deserve to know it before you sign anything. Now, the good news is there's a way to get everything that's good about this model without taking on that risk. So here's the model that I actually teach, and the model that I built my whole business on. It's called the landlord partnership model. So instead of renting the property from the landlord and taking on the tenancy agreements yourself, you partner with the landlord. And here's the difference, and it's a big one. You don't sign a tenancy agreement. You don't take on the rent liability. You're not the tenant. Instead, you manage the property on the landlord's behalf as a short-term let. You bring the systems, the setup, the bookings, and the operations. The landlord keeps ownership. You split the income. Now, look at what happens in that same bad month. January comes, bookings are slow, the flat brings in less than usual. In the arbitrage model, you owe the full rent and you have to eat that loss. In the partnership model, there's no rent for you to pay. You earn from what the property makes. A slow month means a smaller share from the profit that month. It does not mean that you're writing a check out of your own pocket to cover a rent payment for a property that you don't even own. Like, that single difference changes everything. It means you can grow without your risk growing with you. 5 properties is not 5 rent liabilities. It's 5 properties earning profits with no rent hanging over any of them. It also means landlords actually want to work with you because they keep ownership and control, and you're solving a problem for them rather than asking them to hand over their asset to you. And it means you also get to sleep at night because a quiet month is just a quiet month. It's not a financial emergency. Now, I've put the exact steps for setting this up, including how to find these landlords and how to structure the partnerships inside my free 30-day Airbnb launch plan. It literally walks you through launching your first property without owning it and without having to take on a tenancy agreement either. The link is in the description below. So let me be straight with you. I'm not saying nobody should ever do arbitrage. If you fully understand the risk, you've got a financial cushion to cover quiet months, and you go into it with your eyes open, it can work. Plenty of people do run it successfully, but here's my honest view, especially in the current UK market. The rental market is shifting, regulations are tightening, costs are up, the margins of arbitrage are getting squeezed, and the risk of that rent liability is heavier now than it was just a few years ago. For someone just starting out, someone who can't easily absorb a few bad months out of their own pocket, taking on a tenancy agreement after tenancy agreement is a dangerous way to build. The partnership model gets you the same income in the same market, doing the same work without your name on a single tenancy agreement. Lower risk, same reward. So if this made you rethink things, good. That was the point. Now here's your next step. Download my free 30-day Airbnb launch plan. It gives you the full step-by-step system to launch your first Airbnb property without owning it and without signing a single tenancy agreement. The 5 steps, the week-by-week action plan, all of it is free, and the link is in the description below. Go and grab it. And if you want to go deeper, I've got a full 5-part series on this channel called the Landlord Partnership Blueprint. It breaks down the whole model from start to finish. Start with part 1, and I'm going to link the playlist below there for you as well. And if you found this video useful, come on, subscribe. I put out 2 videos every single week for UK people who want to build a real Airbnb business the smart way. So subscribe right now. Onwards and upwards, and I'll see you on the next one.